Brooklyn Independent Television.
You've heard it often as the recession has dragged on. Businesses need loans and credit, but in this economic climate, banks just haven't been lending. Is this still true? Is it as true in Brooklyn as elsewhere? Here to answer those questions and offer business owners some survival advice is a man who sees it from both angles. Peter Meyer is president of the New York City market at TD Bank and chairman of the board at the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Ernie. Thanks for having me here.
So, Peter, how would you assess the overall economic environment in Brooklyn, and in particular, the small business lending environment?
Well, there's a lot of questions within that one question. I think overall we hear that the economy is improving, things have stabilized. I think it really depends on who you speak to. I think that it also depends on small business. How do you define small business? Anybody, it seems to me that anybody who owns their own business, whether it's a $50 million a year company or $1 million, they consider themselves a small business. Banks, on the other hand, government agencies tend to see small businesses as those that are either under $1 million in revenue or borrow less than $1 million. So in that, I think that there is definitely an improvement, as in, the new great is okay, as opposed to where we were maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I think everybody's sort of taken a pounding. I think the small businesses, it depends if they are what area they're in. I see a lot of weakness in the commercial strips of retail. You don't hear a lot of people, saying that they're doing well in that. So I think, things are challenging. I think companies need to, see different ways of doing business, look at new opportunities that are there. From a bank standpoint, I think we hear a lot about what are the banks doing, and I think that in order for us to get out of this and to provide the proper financing and the proper tools for small businesses to get out, it's really a combination of banks, what we would call community development financial institutions, which would be sort of an Axion, a Canva, a Seedco, as well as working along with other government agencies like the SBA to assess needs, offer technical assistance, and help customers or businesses with the type of financing that they need. As you might know, banks have sort of the larger banks have gone to a system of credit scoring. So essentially, where they're not really underwriting. You're not looking, the way the old-time banker was, where you sat there and you said, okay, you stated your case and there was a gut and there was, okay, I know this person. We've really gone towards more of a metric where, you have to be in business for 2 years, you have to be making money. Some of the score, overall score, depends on your FICO score, which is your personal score. So there's a lot more factors that go into that. And so therefore there's a little bit more hurdles as well. So again, I think that the challenge is for companies that can get credit that way, that's a great thing. But then we also have to work with the CDFIs and the government SBA programs to really provide the full slate of products.
Well, that's a great point. And so what can an entrepreneur or small business owner do to sort of improve their chances of getting a loan?
Well, I think that the first thing is they actually have to try to make money, which I think everybody understands that, I hope. Secondly, there is a process of, you need a business plan. And I think small business owners are in a tough way, tough place. They come to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're there till 9 o'clock. They don't have a lot of time to go to seminars, but there are, when we hear things that that there's certain agencies that offer technical assistance. Well, what does that really mean? Technical assistance really is helping a small business owner get through the application process at a bank or at another type of finance company, as well as to make a business plan. You have to have a plan. You have to see what your cash needs are going to be, and there is help out there for them. So that that I think would be number one. You have to have a plan, and if you don't know how to do that, being the chairman of the chamber, this is not just an advertisement, but the Chamber of Commerce in Brooklyn runs the Small Business Solutions Center, which is set up by Small Business Services for the City of New York. That center, and I'll give you the phone numbers of the chambers, 718-875-1000. Call the chamber. They'll put you in touch with the Small Business Solutions Center, and they'll help you through the application process. They'll be able to set your expectations on what you need. They'll listen to you and perhaps hook you with the right agency, right bank, or right institution.
So moving outside of the world of credit and finance, what are some of the other pieces of advice you can give to a struggling business owner here in the borough, just to ride it out in terms of this economic climate?
I think that networking is always a great thing if you're selling something and you have the time to get there. Let's face it. If you're running a retail store on a commercial strip, you probably don't have the time to do that stuff. I think owners have to concentrate on cash. Cash is absolutely king. You need cash to buy inventory. You have to be looking at what are my inventory needs. Realistically, how much cash do I need to do that? Your small businesses are sort of getting pressed from both sides. So if you're buying from a company that's larger than you, they're asking you to pay faster. And if you're selling to somebody who's larger than you, they're saying, well, we're not going to pay you as fast. So you have to really know your cash flow. And again, I think that working with your accountant, working with business professionals, working with some organizations that give you technical assistance can help you really identify that. What are your equipment needs? And there are programs, if it's energy cost efficient, or leasing programs for equipment that are out there. So there is a network of people.
Is this a good time for businesses to be thinking about sort of capital investments?
Yeah, I think that you always have to try to be the top of the class, the best at what you do, either delivering the best product or the best service. And to do that, you need the best technology that you can afford. You have to have a plan on, okay, what's the best that I need? What's going to be appropriate? Don't buy too much because then it costs too much. And how do I apply that to my customers' needs?
So TD Bank.
Yes, sir.
Where's TD Bank looking in Brooklyn? Do you have some new neighborhoods that you're looking at?
Yeah, we are actually TD Bank. At this point in Brooklyn, we have 17 branches that we've opened, or as we call them, stores, because we consider ourselves to be a retailer. As you know, we're open 7 days a week, from very early in the morning till very late at night. This is the advertisement part of the show. But we have 17 locations where we feel that we can probably get to about 30 or 35 branches in Brooklyn over the next 7 or 8 years. So we'll be opening 3 or 4 a year, and we're really looking everywhere. I mean, Brooklyn is such a diverse and it's so densely populated that we feel we could have one store within a half a mile or a mile of another one, and each of them would be a home run, especially with the model that we have. We're user-friendly to the consumer, and small businesses really operate as consumers. If you ask a small business person to differentiate between their personal business and their business, there isn't any. So that commitment to convenience and the locations and the growth, and we consider ourselves to be at the top of our game. I said, before you have to be investing, you have to be looking at how to expand your business. And we think that Brooklyn, the density, the diversity of the business is a great place for us to be.
So there you have it. You're bullish on Brooklyn.
We certainly are.
Great. Peter, thank you so much for being here.
Brooklyn Independent Television on the BCAT TV network.